Okay, so I am back, and I am hoping that everyone can hear me now. And please let me know if you can hear me. So hopefully we get rejoined and everybody can hear me in terms of what I'm talking about. Otherwise, I will then jump to the phone. A little technical difficulty. I'm not sure what that's all about. But nonetheless, what I wanted to talk about today was the applying for your pensions and what is important about that. Basically, what's a critical part of the pension process is the type of pension that you apply for. So if you apply for a disability pension and you apply, oh, good. Thank you, Jay. All right, good. We're back in business. All right. So what I was saying was that the disability pensions, when you apply for a pension, you have to make sure that you apply for the right pension. I'll give you an example. And this is actually a good example of what I'm talking about in terms of people not getting the right information from pensions. I recently represented a client who had applied for a disability pension. Thanks, Marilyn. Who had applied for a disability pension, but should have applied for a service pension and was given the advice to apply for an ordinary disability pension by the pension counselors. And when we tried to get it reversed and it was beyond a certain period of time, they actually refused to allow me to reverse the type of pension. Now, we could have continued to litigate the issue, but the reality was that the pension board basically said that, well, even though you got advice from one of the counselors, you should have looked it up yourself, and therefore you shouldn't rely on what you're being told. Now, I cannot think of a better reason to be here and or to call me if you have questions concerning your pensions, because if basically the pension board is saying that even though our people are giving you information, that you're really not supposed to rely on the information that we're giving you, because you are supposed to go out there and figure it out on your own so that you apply for the right thing. Now, that to me is ridiculous. And what I was actually asking the pension board to do was wind up giving my client less money per month by switching his pension. And they still refused to do that. So what does that tell you? So the important part of what I wanted to discuss today was that even though you may be applying for a pension and you contact the pension counselors, if you're not sure of which type of pension to apply for, then you have to join me, send me an email, or call me, because the pensions are set up in such a way that there are benefits to potentially not getting certain types of pension system or pensions through the system. And I'll give you an example. So, for example, if you're applying for a disability pension and you are actually covered, let's say for health insurance reasons, you're covered through a spouse, then you don't need to worry about health insurance. And therefore, because of that, and because of the dollars, it may be better to apply for a different kind of pension than potentially the accidental disability pension or an ordinary disability pension, because you may also have a workers' compensation case. So let me break that down a little bit. Basically, if you get hurt at work and you apply for a pension, then you are going to be applying for an accidental disability pension. Maybe. And there it is, right? So if you were to call the counselors down at pensions and say, I got hurt at work and I want to apply for a disability pension, they're going to tell you to apply for an accidental disability pension. But that may not be the right move. And the reason that they may not be the right move is because if you have injured that part of your body before, if you were treating 2 weeks before you got hurt again, then you're going to get denied accidental. So it strategically may be better to apply for an ordinary disability pension and still try and collect money from your workers' compensation case. So there's a lot of variables in terms of what type of pension you may be eligible for and when is the best time to apply for each one of those. Now, the other part of things that I also have talked about before, but that's critically important, is the timing of these things. Because when you decide to apply for a pension, pensions will take 8 months to process your application, period. 8 months to process your application. That's the time it's going to take. Hey, good morning. So you have to sort of be prepared for that time lag. Pensions does not move quicker than that. Now, I say that, and of course, if you know somebody that sits on a pension board, then that's certainly going to change the dynamic. But presuming that you don't have a relative that sits on the pension board, it's going to take 8 months or longer. So what we try and do when we start the application process is move it along as fast as we can so that our clients don't wind up in a situation where they're not receiving any benefits. So if we're going to be applying for an accidental disability pension because somebody got hurt at work, the ideal time to do that is actually while they're still receiving workers' compensation payments. And then what happens is they're receiving the workers' compensation payments and we use a future date for their retirement. So we're here in July, so potentially we would use January 1st of next year or February 1st of next year as their retirement date. And what that allows for is that workers' comp can then make all those payments up until the retirement date while pensions is processing the application. So we try and minimize any kind of gap in dollars and benefits that a client is receiving. Sometimes that's not possible, but that's the goal. It is important to remember that if you collect or if you get the accidental disability pension, you are not going to get any money from workers' compensation. There's a dollar for dollar offset between pensions, an accidental disability pension, and workers' comp. So again, strategically, we're going to have to look at the numbers. We have to do the math and figure out which way is going to get for a client of mine greater dollars. So one of the things I just wanted to raise, because we'd gotten the final decision this past week, was to make sure that when you're getting those letters from pensions, that you open them, that you read through them, and that if there's a marker of 30 days or 45 days, that pensions is, administratively going to go by what their letter says. And the reason for that, quite frankly, is because they don't have to be accommodating. They can pretty much say, too bad, so sad, and leave you out in the lurch because what do they care? It doesn't affect them in any way. And, the letter said 30 days. You sent it in on the 31st day. Too bad. We're not going to make an exception. So just be mindful of the difficulty that's created with the application process from pensions, and to be aware that if you're getting letters asking if you want to change something, that you certainly either review that with one of the counselors, or again, if you have any questions, please give me a call, 609-771-8611, or email me at sgaylord@gaylordpop.com. So that's a brief discussion that I wanted to have concerning pensions this morning. And then the other issue that I wanted to discuss with everybody had to do with an interesting thing that came up. This past week, we had a Social Security disability hearing, and I wanted to just quickly talk a little bit about the hearings themselves. And then what I'm going to do next week is I'm going to take a sort of a deeper dive into the Social Security hearing process and how to get ready for it and what to look forward to, and sort of just discuss what to be prepared for. But at some of the hearings, the Social Security Administration has what's called a vocational expert testifying. Now, this person is retained by Social Security and is there to provide information as to what jobs, or what's the definition of what jobs somebody has held in the past, and then to provide information based on the testimony at the hearing, jobs that may be out there in the future. So in other words, the first thing that they're there to do is tell the judge, if you've had 3 prior jobs, I've worked in a factory, I have been a working labor foreman and delivered mail. So they're going to say, okay, this job is number blah, 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 blah. This job is number blah, blah, blah. And they list what the job titles are. They list how much effort is required to do the job. And then they describe whether it's a heavy type job or a sedentary type job. And they define for the court what your past relevant work was all about, which is fine. Then they go on to basically say, based on everything they've heard, based on the judge's hypothetical question, they're going to come up with jobs that they think that you can do in the national economy based on whatever hypothetical the judge comes up with. So what is important to understand about this little discussion is that these vocational experts, quote unquote, are really there to provide some not great information in terms of the types of jobs they come up with. Another example, you get a judge that says, well, a person can't use both hands or whatever. And the vocational expert will then say, oh, well, they can be a small parts assembler. So I think sometimes they don't even listen to what the judges say because they have the same 4 or 5 type jobs that they're going to just say everybody can do. And so it gets a little ridiculous. One of the more recent ones that I've heard was you can be a TV monitor watcher, which I'm not sure what the heck that is. The other one that I liked recently, the small parts assembler, that one I've heard over and over again, and mail clerk, delivering mail clerk. And the last time I checked, unless you're in an enormously large corporation, not too many mail clerk jobs in today's world. As we move, I think, closer and closer to paperless or move in that direction, not too many mail clerk jobs, but they still reference it as a job that somebody could do. Not taking into consideration that we're almost, that we're in 2019 and that that we've sort of gone beyond these types of jobs that they've used historically to say that somebody can go back to work. Now, the advantage is that when we're in this situation, we have the right to cross-examine these vocational experts. So when they come up with some of these crazy kind of jobs, you can really sort of grill them on how many numbers of these jobs are there, where are they, how are people doing these jobs, what experience do they have in referencing these kinds of jobs. There's any number of questions that you can sort of attack them on, because sometimes the opinions that they come up with really do leave a lot to be desired. So but what I'm going to do next week is I'm going to sort of take a deep dive into preparing for a Social Security disability hearing, and we'll talk about some of the aspects of preparation as far as the hearing it goes, and then what our jobs are in terms of the actual prosecuting of the Social Security claim. So anyway, I wanted to say thank you. I appreciate everybody joining me this morning. Saturday Morning with Sam. I'm Sam Gaylord, managing partner at Gaylord Pop and disability litigator in the state of New Jersey, representing injured workers in the areas of workers' compensation, Social Security disability, and disability pension appeals. I appreciate everybody joining me here Saturday morning. I appreciate everybody's comments. And please, if you have the time, just share this with anybody that you know, because the more people that we can access, the more people that watch this, the more people that I can help. And That is the whole idea of this Saturday morning show, is that we are trying to provide the correct information, trying to provide the right questions to be asking so that you get the right information. And I will continue to be here Saturday morning with Sam. So join me next Saturday. We're going to go into a deep dive into Social Security hearings, and I will talk to everybody then. Again, if you have any questions, you can give me a call at 609-771-8611. 609-771-8611, or email me at sgaylord@gaylordpop.com, sgaylord@gaylordpop.com, or go to our website, www.gaylordpop.com, and watch some of the videos. We answer a whole bunch of questions, but please share this with as many people as you know, and I look forward to being here again next Saturday morning, 9 a.m. I'm Sam Gaylord. This is Saturday with Sam, and I will talk to you then. Bye now.